Hey, hey everybody, I'm Cheryl Swift, Duchess of Rock and Roll, and I'm here tonight with
Ward Davis.
This is Ward Davis, y'all. We're here in the beautiful Springfield, Missouri. We're in the tour van, actually, in an alley.
In an alley.
We're in an alley.
Yes.
We've had a lovely dinner at a place called the Black Sheep.
Where they serve drinks.
Drinks and drinks, like drinks.
With a J.
So
like a jinx.
Like a jinx, but a drinks.
At a bar called Black Sheep.
At a bar called Black Sheep. You all will want to go there when you come to Springfield, Missouri. So anyway, we're here tonight. Ward's playing a show. Is this your last show on this run?
This is the last scheduled show I have with Cody Jinks.
No way.
Yes. And I'm outside of shows with Cody and Whitey Morgan, I think I've done 3 shows on my own this year.
Seriously?
Maybe 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I met Ward, I guess it's been about, what, a year and a half ago when you guys came through St. Louis?
Yep. Somebody texted me.
That's okay. This is really live, people. Well, you'll see it after we record it, but you know, phones go off, people walk through.
Shit happens.
Shit happens. That's kind of how life goes. You're just walking along one day, and you get this call about Cody Jinks.
Yeah. I got my booking agent called me, and he said, "Hey, man, have you heard of Cody Jinks?" I said, "Yes, I've heard of him."
Yes.
Because this video kept popping up on Facebook of Cast No Stones, and of him. It was on the Texas music scene. It just kept popping up.
Oh, and that's a great version of it too.
And I finally had to click on it. And
right.
I'm like, well, where's this guy been? Well, he's been working, turns out.
Right, right.
But anyway, my booking agent called and said, "Man, have you heard of him? I've got an opener spot for you." He said, "It's really important, man. This show's important because these guys..." And I said, "Okay. Well, how much does it pay?" And he said, "It pays $150, and it's in San Antonio, Floor's Country Store." And I got my bass player and my drummer to come down. I paid them. I paid them each $150 too. I'm losing money.
You're like, wait, I'm draining money here. What's going on?
But at the time, I was playing like, oh my god, I was playing the shittiest places, like fucking sports bars.
Right.
I mean, like, I literally, maybe around this time last year, I played at a sports bar at a truck stop that had virtual golf booths, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And they had cleared out one of the booths for me to play.
We've come a long way from top golf booths.
It was like a year ago. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's okay.
He said, "Go open the show." So I got my 2 guys down there. And man, I thought there were going to be 150 people there. Like, I knew who he was, but I didn't know anything about his impact on what was happening. And there were 750 people in there, and they were lined out around the building trying to get in. And I mean, I had luckily prepared.
You're like, I brought a band with me. That's good.
Yeah. And it was, you know, it was supposed to be an acoustic opener, but we did our little set. Even more than that, before the show, like, Cody came out, like, I was dragging a suitcase full of t-shirts to sell. And he came out, and he was just standing there. I think he's wearing the same hat that he's wearing tonight.
Maybe the same shirt. The Sturgill shirt.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he puts on. He really doesn't.
It doesn't really matter.
I was like, "Hey, man, nice shirt." He goes, "Oh, it's in my bunk."
It was in my bunk.
He just puts on a comfortable shirt.
Right.
Anyway. I'm drifting.
You can drift, it's okay.
I did this show, and then we just got to be friends.
Yes.
Like, we just got to be buddies. And I was a little standoffish from him because I was really intimidated by that whole scene. I was, you know, I lived in Nashville, and everything was, you know, publishing deal, production deal, record deal, success.
Right, there's a formula there.
That's it, yeah,
yes.
It's a formula. And here's this guy that I'd more or less never heard of, packing out rooms, and I'd like considered him, I mean, from like Nashville, like looking into Texas, like everybody's a red dirt artist.
Right.
Cody's not a red dirt artist.
He's not.
And he just happens to be from Texas. And so like I was drawn to it. Like it wasn't the cliche. It wasn't what I expected. And I loved it. Like I like just like what like here's what I know. I know about this. And here's this guy packing this room out. Like what the hell do I know? And it was right, man, because I don't know. I was watching a movie the other day and it was the history of the Eagles.
Oh, such a good movie.
And when Don Henley said, "Shit don't float," and then Cody Jinks was floating. He ain't shit.
That's right.
And I was immediately drawn to it, and then we were friends. I mean, I respected him. He's like the nicest fucking guy in the world.
I concur with that.
I'm gonna like this guy.
Right.
But we were from two different worlds, so we were really standoffish. And we were doing a show in Stephenville, Texas. Man, it was a really bad show for me. It was one of my worst shows ever. Fired my drummer. Sorry.
Before or after the show? After. Okay, good.
But anyway, it was the day of Merle Haggard's funeral. And I was standing out in the parking lot with Cody and my phone rang, and it was my friend Marla Cannon that I wrote on her wedding. And she said, hey, her dad was Merle Haggard's last producer, Buddy
Cannon.
And she said, hey, Daddy just called me. He said he just left Merle's funeral. She said they played our song at his funeral. And I was like, what? She's like, Lord, they played our song at Merle Haggard's funeral. And I was just completely
dumbfounded. I'm sure. I don't even know how you process
that.
There's
so much shit washing through me.
Right.
And I walked over to Cody, and he said, man, dude, somebody died? And I went, yeah. I was like, man, they played my song at Merle's funeral, and then it was just, he was like, what? Because, dude, I didn't really know it at the time, man. Cody worships Merle Haggard. He loves Merle Haggard.
He does love Merle Haggard. The two interviews that Cody and I have done, what we talked about twice was Merle, because Merle is also my hero. And when I found out you wrote Unfair Weather Friend, I mean, that's impressive to me. Jeff Prince, who I also know wrote Django and Jimmy on the album. And then when I found out you did that, it was cool. But for me, when I heard, because I, right after the funeral, also heard that they did your song, what an honor. One of the coolest things that ever happened to me, when I was a little kid, I learned how to play piano listening to Black Folks records. And I'm sorry, I'm not talking loud. I know you said we should do that. Okay.
I listened and learned how to play piano. It's by Garth Records. They were all just so piano heavy.
Yes.
And I was this little chubby kid with buck teeth and these big glasses that my dad made me wear. And I didn't have really I was goofy, clumsy. I mean, I was a target, you know.
Yes.
But when I learned how to play the dance, I played it one day, and it was raining outside at school, and I went inside to everybody. It was before school, so they put everybody in this big room in what they called the Red Brick Building at my old. It was the original schoolhouse in Drew County, Arkansas. And we all gathered in there, and there had been a program the day before, and they left the piano in there. And I was a nervous little kid, and I went over and sat down and started playing the dance. And I noticed that, like, everybody in the room was quiet. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say I was a bully, but kids picked on me. I was an easy target.
Right.
And I'm, you know, I think I was just kind of born with thick skin too. So I kind of just. But I realized that was like armor, and so
right.
that song meant so much to me because it's a piano song.
Yes.
So years later, I hang out at this bar that's closed now. It's called Dan McGinnis in Nashville. And I used to go in there 2 or 3 times a week and hang out with these old songwriters that would congregate there every day.
Right. It was their cheers.
And they've got a new bar, and I haven't been there yet, and I should. I miss it. But one of the guys that hangs out there is Pat Alger, and Pat and I co-wrote 15 Years in a 10-Year Town together.
Yes.
And Pat also co-wrote Thunder Rolls, What She's Doing Now, Unanswered Prayers.
Wow.
That summer, 15 years.
Yes.
But Small Town Saturday Night.
Really?
Yeah.
Pat's a legend.
Yeah, Pat's a legend. And it was the day that I had the CDs printed. And I went to the bar because I was going to give Pat a couple of copies, right? You're going to edit all this, right?
Sure.
Okay. So, because I'm long-winded.
We'll edit some more. We like you though, so
you
this
see
is a
how
good.
quiet I was at the bar?
Yes.
Not so much.
Not so much now.
So I was in there. I had a few CDs for Pat to give him, and there's this other songwriter that hung out in there named Tony Arata, and Tony wrote The Dance. And so
full circle moment.
So. Well, I hung out with him a lot.
Right.
I admired him from afar. I try to give people like that their space.
Right.
But anyway, so he came and sat down. He said, "Hey, Ward." And I said, "Hey, Tony." He said, "What you got there?" I said, "Oh, man." I said, "I just got my CDs printed. Got them here today." I said, "Me and Pat co-wrote the title track. I wanted to give him some." He said, "Oh." I slid one over to him. And he looked at it. It had the cellophane on it.
Right.
He looked at it. He said, "Oh, man, that's cool." And he slid it back to me, and I slid it back to him. I said, "Man, why don't you take one, too?" He said, "Oh, cool." So he ripped around on the cellophane. He got it off. He opened it up. He was sitting there. And I was sitting with my buddy Greg Jones that I wrote More Goodbye with.
Okay.
And The Overpass.
Yes.
But anyway, Greg's sitting there, and he's also a Garth fanatic.
Lots of Garth fanatics in our world because he's, brilliant.
He got a lot of great music. Tony's sitting there looking at my CD, and he slaps it shut and stands up, and he goes, "You wrote Unfair Weather Friend?" And I said, "Yeah, me and Marla." And he said, "That's it. I'm leaving." He said, "I had no idea sitting next to a goddamn genius." And I went, "What?" "You're Tony Arata. You wrote The Dance.
You're like, but
you
dude,
rescued my childhood. Like, what are you talking about?" And he said, "Ward, no, man." He said, "I was listening to XM, and he said I had to pull my car off the road." He said it was like they were talking to each other, and I was like, "Man,
you're like, well,
I
thank
feel
you."
that it's still kind of hard to comprehend.
Yes.
But that song, I guess the point of all this is, man, that song has just been such a blessing. Like,
yes.
Just top to bottom, and it really did. It brought me and Cody together.
Yes.
And that night, of Merle Haggard's funeral, he was loading his trailer, and he was helping load his trailer. I said, I was a little drunk. My nerves were, I was feeling pretty good about myself. And I said, "Hey, Cody," I said, "Man, you ever want to write sometime?" And he goes, "Huh, you think?" He was drunk too. And a few weeks later, he texted me and he said, "Hey, man, can you come to
Masonic Ranch
and write a
little song?"
Try to write a song. And I was like, I called called my wife and I said, hey, I'm only going to be home for about an hour and a half on Sunday, and then I got to fly to El Paso, help me do laundry, because I was in West Oklahoma the night before.
Yes. So you went into the studio, and a little record was born.
I mean, I don't know if it was...
A little song was born.
Yeah, that sounds like we had a baby together.
I'm sorry.
You know, it is kind of like that, though. Like, we went out on the porch on the back of... Because Sonic Ranch is a studio, but there's also like a ranch house.
Okay.
That's where the band stays. There's a refrigerator with beer in it. Other... whatever. And me and Cody went out on the back of that porch. We'd spent the day just goofing off, drinking. We went down to the Mexican tents and had our picture made. His manager, which is our manager now, Arthur Penhallow, he probably doesn't want his name mentioned, but I don't give a fuck. We went down there and hung out. He drove us around, and we went down to, there was some some Navajo village grounds, and there was still, you could find remnants of stuff. And we picked up a couple of pieces of pottery and found a railroad spike.
Nice.
And we went back to the studio, and he comes walking out of the studio with his jeans tucked in his boots. Said, you want to write a song? Shit, might as well. So I got 2 beers out of the refrigerator. I think he had a joint. We walked around there and we sat down. And I said, man, I got this idea. And I was driving home one day and I just had this thought, like, I'm not the devil. I'm not the devil you think that I am. Because, I don't know, like, every time somebody's disappointed in you, like in something you do, whether it's, I mean, it can be anything. It can be
right.
Like, it could be a parent and a child. It could be a husband and a wife. It could be so many things where you just lose total faith and just, you know. I just had that thought. I'm not the devil you think I am. And I told Cody that. I know Cody liked waltzes, and it just kind of, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And he goes, oh, I like that. Man, it might have taken an hour.
Wow.
And we went and cut it that night. I mean, it was...
That was like a one day, one and out song.
That's never happened. And I'll never forget, because it, like, you can't imagine this place. It's like the Wild West. It's like you're out in the middle of this desert, and there's this orchard, that there's dust, and there's tumbleweeds just blowing around.
Like you're in a scene from Breaking Bad, but not that bad?
Not nearly that bad.
Okay, good.
But so you're out in this place, and it's just it was just magical. It was like going back in time. But after we finished it, we went over to the studio, and I had the guitar. And I was texting. I had the guitar, and I propped my foot up on the window ledge, and I started playing it. And I was facing away from everybody, but I could see their reflections in the window. And Cody started singing, I'm not the devil you think that I am. Get out of here. I'm not the devil you think that I am. And after he said, I'm not the devil you think that I am, the second time in that first chorus, where it starts, I saw Art and Josh Thompson look at each other, and they were nodding. I could see their reflections. I was like,
you're like, we did it.
Yes.
If Josh and Art are shaking their heads yes on the first run through.
And so, I mean, maybe after the first time we played it, Art goes, well, there's your title track right there. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking, like, looking back on that song, like, we got to go on Conan O'Brien and play it together.
I know. One of the best nights of last year for me. I mean, I was crying and happy, and, like, you know, to see someone who you have seen grow as an artist get to do something like that I can't imagine what it was like for you.
It was the most electrifying thing, like, other than, like, maybe the birth of my child. It was like I was sitting back there playing a song that I co-wrote with my friend on Conan O'Brien.
In front of millions of people.
In front of millions of people. And I felt like I had gotten away with something. Like
Yes.
I fooled everyone. And
I'm not the devil, but I'm a trickster.
But I wasn't nervous. Like it was just.
It was no longer a dream; it was reality.
And when you're, I don't know, man. I love the guy. He's just one of my best friends. He's one of the best friends I've ever had.
Yes.
And I'm so happy for him. Like it's so great to just like be there, and like be a part of it. And like,
yes.
And he, I'm kind of sappy tonight because
yes, it's the last night of the run.
Yeah, last one.
Last one.
I'm giving him a guitar tonight.
Yes. People won't see this for a few days.
I know.
So,
I figured.
Yeah.
And I know you're quick, but you're not that quick.
I'm swift, but not quite.
Yeah. No, I've got the guitar that I wrote "Unfair Weather Friend" on. I played it. It's the guitar I played on my album, and I've got a new guitar, and it's my guitar, and I love it. I love it more than any guitar that I've ever had, and that's how I know that I've gotten every song out of it. I call him Granddad, my guitar.
Aww.
And I've gotten every song out of this guitar.
Yes.
And I'm going to give it to Cody.
That's awesome. Well, I have to say...
Is that a long enough interview for you? That wasn't an interview. You just sat there and let me fucking go nuts, didn't you?
Yes.
All right.
Sometimes those are the best. Nobody wants to hear my voice. Everybody wants to hear your voice.
Well, you think anybody's going to believe I'm not stoned?
No.
Cool.
I just want to say that watching you the last year and a half, we've lost the interview. We're just friends here having a chat. It's been exhilarating to watch Cody's star rise, because I met Cody through Sturgill.
Yeah.
And then to watch Cody bring you into the fold and to watch your star rise. And unfortunately, Merle passed while I've known you. So to know you and to know what that meant to you and to Cody, and to know that your song is on that track and was played at his funeral. The night of Merle's funeral, I happened to be at the show that was to be Merle's show with Jamie Johnson, Leanne Womack, Willie Lucas, and Ryan Bingham. And it turned into I felt as though I was at Merle's funeral, even though I wasn't, because they made it into a complete Merle tribute. And I haven't cried that hard at a concert in my life, because he was my hero. So I just can't imagine what it's like for you as a singer-songwriter to have these full circle moments in the last year, and the success that you're having, and watching you grow as a singer and songwriter, and the attention that you're getting. It brings me such joy.
It's surreal.
Yes, I can't even imagine what it's like for you.
Well, I'm like, I don't know. I've always loved music. I've always loved playing music, and like, just to get a chance to. I think there's 1,100 people here tonight.
Yes.
Like, I couldn't get 1,100 people in here. I mean, I couldn't. Cody can, and he's not just letting me do it. He's embracing me.
Yes. He's embraced you like a brother, like family.
Oh man, it's just like I can't. It's been the best year of my life.
Yes.
Like, it's been the best year of my life.
Mine too. And part of it is because I was telling this story at dinner. Cody doesn't really dig interviews, which most people don't. But I told him I was starting a blog and that I loved his music, and he agreed. And then as his star's been rising, he agreed again. And the traction and attention the blog has gotten from Cody has led to my success, and so it's kind of all just so there's just so much synergy in it, and there's so much. It's so authentic. Like you and Cody, you're humble, real men who want to go home and take care of your wives and your kids.
Yeah.
Shout out to road wives and to your babies. I know you're ready.
We were talking
ready to go home.
We talked about it today. Like, I was like, hey man, I was like, dude, I'll just come out to Fort Worth and like bring Rachel and the baby, and then they can go do whatever they want. I mean, I can hang out. He's like, Yeah, man, we right.
Yeah. So, you know, I know it's hard on your families and those of us who follow the band and appreciate the band. We appreciate you and your families at home who sacrifice you so that people can watch your music, you know.
Well,
I know that's no small feat.
Like, I know Rebecca, Cody's wife, Rachel, my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we both have this really tight support system.
Yes.
And, man, I don't think either one of us could do it without that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, no, we don't worry about our kids.
Right. You're blessed. You have good home support, good vibes, good kids, good people around you to insulate you.
It's good shit, Cheryl.
It's good shit,
It's just
Ward.
top to bottom good shit.
It's just good shit. Oh, this
Have
guy.
you gotten enough out of me?
I have.
That's pretty intimate, baby.
So this is intimate. This is Cheryl. I'm the Duchess of Rock and Roll. This is Ward Davis. And
good night.
you can go get
luck,
him. WardDavisMusic.com, WardDavis.com.
Yeah.
Ward Davis, Google him.
Facebook.
Facebook
Get on
him.
Facebook. Everybody's got Facebook.
Everybody's got a Facebook. Anyway, we're here in I said Memphis. We're here in Springfield, Missouri. I'm the Duchess of Rock and Roll, and Ward and I wish you peace, love, and rock and roll.